Yes.
Yes, Representative Garcia, Dave Bowman, WPTV. It was hailed as a victory when the bill passed the House where the files were going to be released. And yet you heard today that while a few reputations have been taken with individuals and people abroad have been investigated, that the names of the survivors came out. What do you do moving forward to try to prevent that? And to get names of the perpetrators released when your own survivors today said they don't have a lot of confidence in that?
Yeah, I mean, I put the blame squarely on former Attorney General Pam Bondi for that. She has had a direct hand in this cover-up from the beginning. Not only did they move slowly, but they were sloppy. We heard from survivors, as you mentioned, that their lives have been destroyed while names of men and co-conspirators who committed the crimes were redacted. So I think that there needs to be that's why we need to hear from Pam Bondi at the end of this month, under oath, on camera, in front of the American people, because she is to blame for this. And there should be, I believe, accountability for her and for what she did here. She has ruined lives. I mean, we heard such devastating stories today about people's children hearing these stories for the first time, women whose details of their sexual assault and abuse was revealed because of the botching of these files. The law was very clear that any personally identifiable information as it pertains to survivors should have been redacted. This is not an accident. The Department of Justice chose to do this because they want to silence people. They want this to go away. Donald Trump has made that abundantly clear. He's directed his staff to make sure that happens, and I believe that the reason these mistakes were made was, again, not an accident and at the direction of Pam Bondi.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, and moreover, I would just say that what this proves, the fact that, none of our Republican colleagues are here today. For Democrats, this is not a midterm campaign strategy. This is not about political gamesmanship or upsmanship, but clearly for them, fighting for the naming the Epstein files in their campaigning. The Epstein files, by the way, are real people. These are real people's lives, right? That was just purely political for them. As proven by their obstruction and by their defiance and their unwillingness to comply with legally binding subpoenas. And then finally, I would just say, something that really just stayed with me today. There have been so many instances of insult to injury. Not only were vile acts committed by this vermin in their predator, pedophile Ponzi scheme that is a lifetime sentence for these survivors. This trauma is showing up and manifesting in their lives in so many ways. But it is insult to injury that there was an institutional betrayal by law enforcement, by the Department of Justice, and now today by House Republicans. And their rights were not honored in the Crime Victims' Rights Act. And the fact, as Congresswoman Randall speaks to, that their names have been unredacted. That was some of the most devastating testimony here today. It is insult to injury. And in the words of Virginia Giuffre, we need to know who the monsters are. We need to follow every single road. We don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, independent, what state they live in, what their job is, if they're a politician, if they're a president, or if even they are a prince. We will follow all roads because this is not political for us. This is deeply personal. This is about these survivors and their families. And every monster, in the words of Virginia Giuffre, needs to be named and shamed because they could still be out there committing these evil, vile acts.
Okay, last question.
Yeah, I just want to know if former state attorneys, especially if he's been invited to testify, and what could his testimony yield and give to the public?
What I can say is that we have invited some former Florida officials to testify voluntarily. That has yet to happen, and so we are prepared to compel testimony in the future. That's something that we're looking at right now. Thank you very much.
In a world flooded with noise, Hook Global delivers clarity. Your video-first destination for U.S. coverage, breaking news.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
Global development and the stories shaping power, politics, and geopolitics. Fast, focused, fact-driven.
Did you read those new files?
No.
From Donald Trump shakeups
The tariffs will be not a full reciprocal.
and Capitol Hill showdowns.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath.
Yes, Mr. President, quake in your boots because I will tell you the truth. You will be impeached.
To global warfare.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर आतंक के खिलाफ भारत की नीति है.
Diplomacy, elections, and shifting power dynamics.
וביחס למה שנעשה בהמשך דין, יש לנו תוכנית סדורה עם הרבה הפתעות. לערער את המשטר, לאפשר שינוי.
Hook Global brings you sharp coverage, deep dive explainers, and expert-backed analysis 24/7.
ایران شاید زخمی شود اما هرگز زانو نمیزند. دشمنان این ملت به ویژه آمریکای جنایتکار و رژیم منحوس صهیونیستی را
For analysts, policymakers, globally curious minds.
Free the hostages now. If you do, you will live. If you don't, Israel will hunt you down.
Hook Global cuts through the chaos of international conflicts, economic tremors, or strategic global moves.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
We cut through the chaos and deliver context that matters. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay ahead, get hooked on what matters.